sort my hair out. As you can see, I haven't really brushed it today.
Okay, good morning, afternoon, or night, depending on what time you're watching this. This is Melanin Mindset, a show that looks at mental health issues within the BAME community. Today I am joined by Sophia May. Hello. Hi. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I'm tired, I'm not going to lie. I have non-stop been working, but yeah, I feel good. I feel positive. I'm in a positive headspace at the moment these days.
Good. That's not an easy thing to do with all, like, so much negativity around us, I guess. So it's something that you do have to sort of aim to do and try and stay positive. So,
Absolutely.
as I mentioned, this is a show that we look at sort of mental health issues and things that contribute to one's mental well-being. So before we go any further, can we just who is Sophia May for those that don't know?
Oh, she's just a regular. Okay, so well, I'm Sophia May. I am a #1 Billboard singer-songwriter from the UK, and I'm also a mental health nurse and mother of a beautiful young girl who has learning and health needs. So all round, very busy, but I don't know, like I love my job as a mental health nurse. I love music and I love singing, and I've been blessed in that area to have 3 top 10 billboards and write for other artists and stuff like that. But yeah, my passion is mental health.
Okay, so what is it? I mean, you said your passion is mental health. What does it mean to be a mental health nurse for you, and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, so I've been working in mental health for so many years. I'm not going to tell you because then it will tell you my age. But I've been doing it a long time, and I've been qualified as a mental health nurse for, I think it's nearly 4 years now. So yeah, I kind of got myself in the positions that I wanted to be in work. So I've done community-based work, I've done ward-based work, and now I work for a university where there was a very high suicide rate at the university. So they called on us to show support with that and try and make a difference in that area. So for me as a mental health nurse, like and I say this in my men's mental health rooms, I don't have answers for people. I might have some ideas for solutions and things to help people along the journey, but really I kind of just facilitate a safe space for them to help each other and empower each other. So I see myself as a guider in the right direction.
Right. I mean, you mentioned suicide rate. From my understanding, the rate for suicide for, as you mentioned, men's groups, the rate for suicide for men is considerably higher. Am I correct in saying that?
It's more than double.
Wow.
The rate of rape.
And of that,
I think that's gonna, we haven't had the stats out yet for since the pandemic. So I think we're all going to be really shocked.
Wow.
Numbers, yeah.
And what do you think are the key? I mean, my personal understanding of that would be men are less likely to seek help. What would you say are the main contributions to men committing suicide more than women?
I think that men tend to hold stuff in a lot more. I'm not saying, I'm not speaking for every man, and I'm not speaking in the difference for women, but generally men tend to hold things in a lot more. There's barriers such as there's cultural barriers, there's barriers with regards to that kind of alpha male attitude and feeling like showing vulnerability it's not okay to do that as a man. They're supposed to be the providers or those kind of things. It is the barriers, isn't it? It's the barriers to seeking help or support or speaking up or advocating for, like, if you don't break down the stigma, things won't change.
So you said cultural barriers. What sort of cultural barriers are you referring to?
Well, I mean, from my experience in mental health nursing, there's different cultures have different belief systems around mental health and mental illness. So for example, if somebody's thinking that somebody might be possessed rather than suffering with psychosis, for example, then they may not seek medical intervention, which is likely to be the thing that will, the earlier you intervene with these things, the best chance of the recovery off the other end of it. So realistically, people need to be seeking help early, so that it doesn't get to the point of whether it's crisis or whether it's, say you had depression and it turned into a level of psychosis. If you don't seek help early enough, it's easier to maintain your well-being again if you help early. So if your belief system or your family's belief system is that they don't believe that people can be unwell, then you might miss those opportunities. And I'm not saying that means that you can't get well. It's just that the chances are always the recovery pathway is a lot clearer and a lot quicker and better generally if people access early.
I mean, it's when you're saying that, I'm just thinking like my background is my ethnic origin is Caribbean, so West Indian, Jamaican. I was born and raised here, in the UK, but I do know that culturally it is something that is not really spoken about much, especially with men. Almost sort of a toxic masculinity is something that is very rough within the communities, and it is unfortunate. What about youth? You talked about intervening early. Is it something that needs to be looked at from an even younger age, or is it something that only develops later on?
Yeah, but it's about promoting the open-mindedness from a young age is how things will, we know this with most things. If you catch things early in age, it's going to be useful for people to know that it's okay. It's okay to see a GP. Simple things like that. People don't, men don't access GP as much as women will. Things like that. But if those stigmas are challenged, if we make an effort and advocate really, and men advocating as well for men, which is why I run the men's room, but I'm sure we'll talk about that. The sooner the age-wise is going to be helpful, isn't it? It's going to be beneficial. Education at an early age, we know that. We know that the evidence says that as they get older, they're going to be educated on those subjects that might not have been discussed before. Yeah.
That's powerful. Because I mean, I've only just over the past few years really started to notice certain things which will contribute to someone's well-being. And my attitude has been that we should treat, the same way we treat our physical bodies, or the same way that we try to look after our physical bodies, the mental is just as important, if not more important, and everything contributes to it.
There is no health without mental health. That was the campaign, because that is the truth. There is no health without mental health. If we broke our arm, we'd go to the hospital and get it fixed, wouldn't we?
Right, exactly. So it's crazy that people, if somebody is seeking a therapist or they're seeking help for whatever conditions they have, and it seems to be frowned upon. But like you said, if you're sick, you go to the doctor. No one's going to look at you and go, what's wrong with you? You've got flu-like symptoms. Why are you going to the doctor?
No. They would look at you funny if you walked around with an arm that was sort of hanging the wrong way because they haven't fixed it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when they'd have something to say. But yeah, we just, and also with the pandemic, it's just, it's made everything worse. But we haven't even come across those challenges yet, because there's probably going to be a whole load of social anxiety when things open back. Those are going to be the next challenges. People haven't, most people haven't been communicating with people in the same way for a year now. Yeah. So it's a long time. So I think, we've got to be mindful of the fact that those things are just going to exacerbate what's going on already. People need to be able to speak and get support at this point. Definitely.
You said about your men's groups. How do men respond to you as a woman running a men's group? How do they react to that?
Do you know what? I've been really blessed with it, to be fair. I've had nothing but positive feedback, just because it's about creating the space for them to be able to feel like they can speak with each other. I did wonder whether it would make a difference with the fact that it was me that was hosting the rooms, just for the fact that I'm female, but I really don't speak that much in my rooms. I really don't. I'll introduce the room and I'll keep the flow of the room, but I like to allow the men to speak to the men within my group. And I do allow women to be in the room, and I do enable them to speak and reflect, but they don't share the testimonials. And I always ask, there's this kind of general thing about ladies first, but in this, we feel it's important that men have the opportunity to just pause. And I don't speak for every woman at all. We, and I say myself as well, can have a tendency to jump in and want to help, want to resolve, and just mother them. And I want the men to be able to have a moment's pause to think about how they might support or reflect with each other, because that's part of it as well. It's not about just having men being able to start opening up and speak about their feelings. It's about men being able to accept a man speaking about the feelings and not judge them or feel that they don't know what to say or how to support. Do you know what I mean? It's the whole process, really. Yeah, that's the idea.
When you have these groups, does it take a while before they are able to sort of open up? Is there like an awkward silence for a lot of time, or is it just instant free flow, and are they just open and ready to talk?
So what I try and do with my groups is, because we're learning as we go. We're kind of stepping forward with it. We had 300 people in the room in the last session, so managing that space, wonderful. It's a new thing, and
I'm there thinking you got like 12 people in the room. I wasn't thinking like
no 300 people rocked up. Yeah.
Wow.
So which was amazing, but what I was trying to do is format it properly now. So I actually have someone come in and do just a short breathing exercise at the beginning and the middle at the end, just to allow people to potentially alleviate any anxiety with speaking and things. It's been known to help, so it's worth a try. And then I actually do talk to one of the moderators or somebody that I know does mentoring and that's been part of the group from the beginning. I usually ask one of them beforehand and say, are you happy to share first? Because what you'll find is it takes those brave people that are prepared to share their story, and you'll be surprised how most people want to open up. But it's like I say in the room, if people don't want to speak, you can learn whilst you listen. You can respond in your mind. You don't have to be a voice until you're ready to be a voice, if ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm still trying to get over that 300.
Oh, I know.
I was thinking of like a small intimate room, 10 to 12 people max, but
no.
Even to get 300 people to
generally always, we always have over 100. We've pretty much had it, over 100 in every session that we've had. But the last session was 300, and we managed it quite well considering.
Wow. That's great. That's great. I want to talk about music therapy. You mentioned, you were top 10 Billboard, writing and things like that. What does music do for you, therapy, mentally? What does it give you?
It's so funny because I was talking about this on an interview the other day, and music has been like the thing that I always go back to. Like I'll sort of like, the music, but actually, when at time like lockdown, an example, the first lockdown last March, I turned to music. I was here. My daughter was here, but she's an age where she's just doing her own thing, doesn't really want to know her mum. So I wasn't feeling great mentally, to be honest. I was feeling quite isolated, and I turned to music and I wrote about 6 songs in a week, which 4 of them were picked up and bought, which is great, but that wasn't the purpose. The purpose was that I needed to express myself, right. And I find that expressing myself through music is my go-to. That and exercise.
Yeah, I've noticed. I saw your Instagram, and I've noticed you've been doing a lot of exercise recently. I mean,
honestly. Yeah, but anyone who knows me well will be like, oh my God, this is not safe. Yeah, it's quite nice to
how's
be.
that been for you, the exercising? How's that? How was it starting that when you first? It's always like very difficult when you first start doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know what it is? And you have to get into the flow of it really to for it to be just sort of, oh, it's just what I do on a daily
lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hadn't joined, had I joined a gym? I don't think I'd even joined a gym at that point, but I just thought, let me just do something, even if it's just 10-20 minutes. And my nephew, Darren Placid, he is a personal trainer. He's also a fireman. He's amazing, but he's got like some videos online, and I was like, I'll just do one of his videos a day, just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it increased, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start running, because I never could really run. And now, yeah, I can do like 6K and just, not even too big a deal either. Actually, the 6K was a big deal. The 3Ks are fine. But yeah, and I just had like some weights at home and a yoga mat, and I was like, oh, I need to maybe get into yoga and a bit of meditation. And I've gone all like, I've turned to that side of things. So I'm really into all of that. And then when we kind of started to open up last year, I joined a gym with my friend, and it's actually like a bodybuilder's gym,
Right.
LA gym, Bristol. Yeah, just training like with the men. Love it.
That's one gym I've never been to, actually. I've been to a few gyms around Bristol, and I've never actually been to LA gym. Nah.
All right, so when you come to Bristol next, when this is all over, I'll take you to LA gym and I'll pump some weight with you.
I'm in Bristol. I'm from Bristol, so.
Oh, you in Bristol? Okay.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do LA then. All right, it's a deal. If you can lift as heavy as no, I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, I started gym wise, and I started going to the gym at the start of 2020. I mean, I've always gone in and out of gyms. I've never really been consistent.
Yeah.
Grew up doing like boxing and things like that. My dad was a boxer, my sister, stuff like that. So grew up doing that sort of thing. And me and my brother, my younger brother, started going. I said to him at the start of 2020, I said, I'm gonna go gym like at least 4 days a week. And he was like, no, you're not doing that. So we started to train together, and we were like training together, and it was good, and it was a regular thing. And then lockdown happened. Just like you lose weight, and then when the first lockdown happened, I was like sending him little videos of myself training, like at home, just like, okay, let's do that press up challenge, squat challenge, and all that sort of stuff. But then it just slowly deteriorated.
Windows. Yeah. Do you know what? Every day I tell myself, no, Soph, like you're not doing this. You've worked too hard to stop now. And like I think that I've got to that point. But I also started doing the like eating more in the keto way. So it's high protein, yeah. And the reason that I got involved in that is because my daughter has epilepsy. Speaking to her neurologist, that was one of the food changes that can be helpful with epilepsy. So I was like, she's young, and I think putting her, this is just my opinion, but putting her on some sort of strict diet is she's likely to fall off when she's not around me, or she's friends or something. But then she'd be more prone to having seizures. So I don't want to do that to her. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, well, let me try it first and see, because I knew that there was, you could lose weight on it and things like that. But I felt great. In the last year, physically, I have felt great. I felt tired, but I felt great. Do you know what I mean? I've worked really, really hard. I don't know, I just keep telling myself, like, just don't give up, like, you're doing too well. And I feel like I get told I'm helping inspire other people as well with their own journey in exercise and fitness. And so, yeah, why would I stop? That's why I'm in right now.
It's good advice. No, it's good advice.
Well, the gym. But I think it's good to do like the challenges, like those little challenges and stuff. It's quite good, because me and my friend are doing the splits challenge. So we're gonna. I'm learning to do the splits at nearly 40.
Wow. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever be able to do this. I've always been quite flexible, but yeah, I don't think the splits is.
It's a lot, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be able to do it either, but I'll try. It's worth a try.
Oh no, you know, I mean, go for it. Like, go for it. If you can, then. I mean, I used to do Thai boxing and sort of like high kicks and that was difficult enough. So yeah,
I love all that, like the kickboxing, anything like that, boxing. I love all that.
yeah. My sister runs a female only class, so I could.
Does she?
Yeah, yeah. So.
I'm there. I'm there. Anything fitness related, I'm there.
Brilliant. So let's get back to music a little bit. So
yes.
You mentioned that you wrote 6 songs, and 4 of them got picked up.
Sorry, I think she's coming now. She just arrived. Oh no, maybe not. Sorry.
Okay. How do you know 4 of them got picked up? How does that process work?
So I connected with a guy called Ferry, who is in Holland. I met him at ADE, which is the Amsterdam music. It's like the music conference. Have you heard of it in Amsterdam? They do it in October, I think it is, every year. Obviously not last year. So I met him a couple of years ago through somebody that I worked with in America, and so I write top lines, and then producers can pick if they like them and buy them and then release them. Now, generally, I will do that, but not necessarily have my name on it. But my latest single, The Moment, was picked up, and they asked me if I would be on it, and I said, well, yeah. And I didn't realize it was going to do as well as it did. But that's kind of something I've been doing maybe for the last couple of years that I wish I'd done 15 years ago. Really.
So, all right, so let's go into that. So 15 years ago, I mean, when did you start writing? What age were you? You don't need to say the age, but when.
So at the beginning of my music career, it's such an odd story because I didn't really particularly want to be a singer, but my sister was like, you will. So she entered me into a competition, and I won the competition, and it's kind of gone from there. And I've met, like, you must know, like Bungie and the Bristol lot, right?
Maybe by face, I don't know. The name's not really.
You would know, and Kizzy Morel and people like that. All faces in Bristol that are well known, and I worked with those people right back at the beginning, and it was, you know, it was all good and all fun, and it was kind of just, I've always just done it because I've enjoyed doing it, if that makes sense.
Right.
Rather than it being that kind of that passion that stops me from doing anything else in life. It's just been something I enjoy doing, like a hobby.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what was your actual question? I've gone completely.
No, that's okay. No, I was just saying, when did it sort of start for you when, you know, the writing?
Oh, right. Yes, yeah. So my friend Chris DeCiccio, who is also known as Bellatrix, he was like, so do you fancy, you know, co-writing this song? She's here now. I'm so sorry. I'll start that again, shall I? Do you want to pause it?
Yeah, we'll pause that.
All right, 2 seconds. Let me just open the door. All right, let's sort my hair.
All right, so carry on, as you were saying.
Yeah, so do you want to ask that question again, and then you can...
Okay, yeah, so how did it all start? How did the writing start, the singing? Okay,
yeah, so basically I was writing like an R&B album with Trudy Musiamo, who used to live in Bristol. She's not there anymore, but I was writing all of that, and then I fell pregnant with this little one up here now. So that was a lot of years ago. So I was kind of going along the R&B route, and then I had her, and 3 months after she was born, hang on, I'm getting the timelines wrong here. So before I fell pregnant with her, I wrote I Can't Help Myself, which was my #1 Billboard, with who said, do you fancy co-writing a song, a house track? And I was like, I don't do house music, but why not? Let's give it a go. And then like a year and a half later or something, when my daughter was 3 months old, I had a phone call saying your song has gone to #1 in the Billboard. And then it was...
That was UK chart, was it?
No, the American Billboard.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, I didn't realize how big that was until they were, we want to fly you over to America, like, are you happy to come? And she was 6 months old, I think. No, 3 months old. No, she was 6 months old. So I literally stopped breastfeeding, the week before, and then I was off to America, and I was just traveling around in America doing shows and to crowds of thousands of people, not realizing how big the song was until you hear thousands of people singing your lyrics back to you. It was surreal, really. I think I was kind of in the twilight zone the entire time. Like, I really do. And I think back of the experiences that I've had, like, I wish I'd have been a bit more prepared, because the business mind that I have now, and like my maturity and whatever, I definitely missed the boat of being involved in any like negative stuff in the industry, which I'm really glad about. I think just being a mum, full stop, was to kind of put an end to some of the things that I witnessed in the industry that I could have been involved in and I didn't get involved in. But I do wish that I was kind of a bit more prepared, in the sense of like, I feel like I could have propelled myself further. Don't get me wrong, I was smart with it and continued to write, and I wrote 2 more top 10 billboards, which is amazing. But I feel like I could have, at the time the song was above Lady Gaga's Just Dance on the chart.
That's major. So were you
Yeah.
signed at that? Were you signed at that time, or were you independent? Or?
So I saw, it was an independent label, Nervous Records, with Mike Weiss, who has become a friend since. But I've only really signed single deals with labels. I've never committed to any more than that. Yeah, I like my freedom, and I like to write to different music, and I like to work with different people. And this is why having managers has never really worked out. They've still always remained my friend. When it comes to managing me, I'm hard to manage. No, because I've just got so many things going on. Like, in order to, at this point and stage in my life particularly, like I feel like that I might as well manage myself, because for me to fill somebody in with everything that I do, I've taken that time that I could have just dealt with it myself. It's not like I can't speak or articulate myself properly. So yeah. The point where I was like, let me just.
Where were you? Since you mentioned there was Billboard charts in America, so I imagine you're traveling around America, tourist. What sort of cities were you going to, and what was the crowds like the demographics?
San Francisco, Seattle, Chicago, New York. Spent a lot of time in New York, New Jersey, Florida. God, now you're asking. I'm an old lady. These things all over, and I would say probably because it's house music, like certainly at the beginning, a lot of my fan base were the gay community, for sure. Right. So going to San Francisco, it was always going to be a great barrel of fun. We'd have fun. Yeah. Right. So I did like a lot, because I did. I remember going and singing on a float in Chicago. They put me Fusion radio float, and I had to stand and sing. Yeah, great experiences. I actually remember having my suitcase on the bottom of the float, because I had to go to the airport right after the float. I mean, don't know how the timing was right, but I managed to get to the airport on time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I remember you doing some sort of promotional stuff as well. I think that was in Bristol, though. I remember if it was there was somebody coming down. I know your name was linked to it. It might have been Mayweather or somebody.
Oh, I did a few like event type things, you mean? Yeah, and like often supported artists. So when Game comes to Bristol, I've supported him a couple of times, and
I think that was it.
Dam as well, and Jeremiah, Nelly. I've got a close relationship with Nelly's people and his DJ and stuff. So we've worked on music together, and I'll always show support to stuff like that when I can. Yeah.
Brilliant. And how do you feel? Like, are you very aware that you're sort of somebody from Bristol? Like, when you go to these other cities, when you meet these other people, like, how much do they know about the place that you're from? I mean, we hear about.
No, they don't. They know nothing. They know nothing. Every time anytime I speak anywhere, they're like, "Oh, you're from London?" No. Just because I'm English doesn't mean I'm from London. But because Bristol's really like isn't it like one of the highest? Isn't it like it's known for music? Like it's like in the top 3 or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or it was.
There's still stuff about my own city that I'm still learning. So
Yeah.
I mean, even
Yeah.
when I went back in 2001, and I went in 2006 as well. And I remember just speaking to people, family and stuff. But when I'm speaking to people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're from London," and I'm like, "Nah, not nah."
No.
Where you from? I'm from Bristol. Brixton, yeah, that's London. No, like, no.
Do you know what the joke is? I'm actually from London. I was born in London.
You were born in
London. I was born in Lewisham, and my family is a lot of my family in London. So I've spent over the year, like, I spent a lot of time, moved back to London for a little bit. But I grew up down in the street near Glastonbury. Like I am a real country girl. Yeah. But yeah, people don't know about Bristol as much as they should. Bristol's cool.
Do you feel like when you're in these spaces, and do you feel like a responsibility to educate people about the city? I mean, you mentioned obviously people like Game coming here, Nelly, like how do they even know about
to be fair though, I've still got things to learn about Bristol, like I really do, and like I'm not even going to explain some of the things and the silly comments that I've made where I've just been like, I just didn't know that, to any of my Bristol friends that know the history and stuff. Like I'm, to be honest, I'm still trying to educate myself. I'm no good to educate somebody else on Bristol.
Right.
It's not. I can educate them on Glastonbury.
Have you ever performed at Glastonbury at all?
No, I haven't. Do you know what? That's one place I haven't. And the thing is, like, my family has been really connected to, I mean, Michael Evis's granddaughter was one of my friends. But no, I haven't. And I think, like, I don't know, it's mad, isn't it? But I associate Glastonbury, like I'm not really a festival goer. And 9 times out of 10, the issue is the toilets. And that sounds really stupid, right? But it's just an issue for me. Like the whole mud thing, like I've been because I was from there. So I've made the attempts and I've gone. But I just thought, I don't know why. It's not something that really appeals to me. And yet, performing at a festival, you wouldn't even have that experience. I know this. I've done, I mean, I performed at Ashton.
Ashton Gate.
That's it.
Ashton Court. Sorry.
What's it? Ashton Festival. Ashton Court.
Ashton Court, yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. I have performed, that was years ago though. I've forgotten all the things I've done, to be honest.
I think it's a balloon fiesta, isn't there? And there's there used to be the Orange, well, before it was EE, they used to have like the Orange Festival at Ashton Court years ago. I remember a lot of performances there. So when you're like on stage and you're performing and you're seeing all these people and everyone's singing back to you, what does that do for you mentally? And how do you feel from going on stage and then when you're coming off stage? What are the sort of differences in feeling?
So I know that like a lot of artists will talk about, it doesn't matter how big you are, you still feel nervous.
Yeah.
I definitely feel nervous. Like in my head, I'm thinking, do not trip up and fall flat on your face on the stage in front of all these people. Like that's what rolls through my head. That's my initial thought. And then it's like just getting the first like bit out, and then I'm comfortable on stage. But I always come off feeling amazing. It's an adrenaline rush, because to be fair, I've never had a bad like crowd. Like I've never had bad feedback, and I don't necessarily know that that's a good thing, because then you're not really prepared. But I've been really fortunate in people just showing love and support, to be honest. Yeah.
Do you?
I at St. Paul's Carnival as well, actually. I forgot about that.
Which one was that? I
performed on the main stage. So it was I lived in New York for a year and then I came back. So it would have been 2012.
Right.
So that was with Liam, and Liam Calloway. He's a keyboard player. He's a good friend of mine, and we work on that vocal stuff together as well. He's amazing.
He's an amazing keyboard pianist.
Yeah. but he's an amazing person. I love Liam and his family. But yeah, that was 2012, I think. What was it?
What do you think about the carnival now? When's the last time you've been?
I would have gone to the last one that happened, which would have been the year before last, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think 2019.
Yeah, I went to the last one. The last one that they did, I did attend. I didn't see all of it though, because the moving around in the busy crowd and stuff, it becomes a bit overwhelming. So I kind of dip into the side and then out. Yeah, but I try and show support to things like that in Bristol if I can. I'll stop in, as long as there's a toilet nearby.
So
Some of my festival issues coming in here.
I want to talk about generations, right? And different generations. You're talking about mental health issues. We're talking about mental health issues. And the conversation has been happening for a few years now. But the older generation is not really something they ever spoke about. From our culture. What can be done to sort of change their perspective of the concept of mental health? Because a lot of times I think they just think the sane asylum. You mention mental health, it's like, oh, they're sick in the head and that's it. Or they're, like you said earlier, they're possessed and that's it. What do you think can be done to educate them?
Well, the key is education, isn't it? But it's about how you educate. So this is one of the things that we're thinking around and currently working with someone called Juan Gray. We're developing an app to support men in mental health, and that will be all ages. And we will run spaces for different ages for different reasons. So whether it's, war veterans or over a certain age, there'll be different aspects of this app that I can't talk too much about it because it's in the process. And it's like I'm saying to anyone that's interested in being involved in the beta stages of it, www.mendable.app. If you go there and register an interest in that, anyone who wants to, I mean, even women can fill out the form and get involved, but this is an app for men. But I think this is how you do it. I mean, the older generation are probably unlikely to be on an app necessarily, depending on the age that we're talking about. But it is about education, and I think that there are times that grandchildren can sit down with their grandparents and try and educate in a way that doesn't make them feel like they're telling them what to do or how to think or how to feel, because that's an instant wall up, isn't it?
Yes.
But challenging some of those things, we challenge on everything these days, yet we can't challenge on things that are really going to help people, because it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still be affected by mental health too. So yeah, maybe that's one thing that could happen.
So what's the percentage of within your groups, what's the percentage of them that are fathers, or do they not disclose that information, and how much
that are fathers?
Yeah.
Fathers. Well, we haven't done I don't know specific numbers because it's not a question that is asked, but I probably say that the majority of people that speak have spoken about being a father. Yeah.
And do you think that contributes, just being a parent? I mean, as a parent yourself, do you think that parenting contributes to your mental state? Like, how much does it?
Well, as in the impact for the parent?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, is it? And like I said, with the pandemic, it's affected people even more so because of the home education and whatnot. Because people assume, you talk about mental health and people just assume, oh, somebody who's suffering with psychosis or someone who suffers with schizophrenia, or do you know what I mean? Like all those kind of things into people's heads. But actually, having low mood, having anxiety, having a panic attack because something's really worried you that's come up, or you're worried about your financial situation and it's caused you stress, like all these things affect everybody. Mental health affects everybody, and yet we still have this barrier to saying that that's what's going on for you. It's bizarre when you think about it, but it's going to take those parents, like those that are joining my group and coming in to get educated or to speak or to support each other. Those parents will have the positive impact for their children for sure. And we need more of that too.
So you mean like parents sort of also educating the children as well, you know, starting from a young age?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's going to be the quickest route to what we were talking about earlier about challenging, like to get support for the younger people. That's going to be key, isn't it? The parenting.
And how much I mean, obviously we're talking about like right now it's all homeschooling, but in general, how much do the schools have a part to play in, you know, one's mental stability?
Yeah, I mean, that schools work differently in different schools. I know that my daughter goes to a special school, and they are very, you know, they're spot on when it comes to the young people's well-being. I think that they are trying to put things in place, you know, having people, you know, wellbeing advisors in schools and nurses in schools and things like that. So I think they're trying. It's not that the country's not trying. I think it's just that there's still a lot more to be done. There's still a lot to be done.
Have you ever been asked to attend any form of like seminar at school or anything like that? Or do any training?
Sorry, your signal just went then. I missed that.
Have you ever been asked to do like a seminar or from any form of training at a school?
Okay, you cut out, but I think I kind of got what you were saying. I did offer my support actually at my daughter's school. This was right before the pandemic, and I have offered since, but obviously it's tricky at the moment. But what I wanted to do was offer the young people that were going to be leaving school, just offer them some kind of tips around managing their well-being when they leave. So I mean, I think I would help anyone that wants help with this. Like this, I'm open to helping, as you know. Like I'll always try and be there and be supportive to the cause, because that's important for me to be an advocate. If I can do it and I've got the platform to do it, I will do it. But I know that they do have initiatives in schools, in a lot of schools, to help with the support of children's mental health. Is
there any sort of advice that you would have for, let's say you were speaking to, I mean, you did say that you offered your services, but say you were speaking to a headmaster or headmistress of a school, or even if you were just speaking to teachers, like tutors, is there any advice that you would have for them, sort of like how to manage even their own mental stability when dealing with students?
Honestly, my advice to them, like, is as a quick impact, is that if it's a head teacher or even the teachers, is to suggest that they do just a day's training on managing these things. Get the training, because if you're educated, then you're better to educate other people. So that would be my advice. I think there's, you know, the work-life balance thing is really important. Something that I'm working on for myself at the moment is finding the right work-life balance is really important, isn't it? For your own well-being. You can help people. Don't look after yourself. You can't help anyone.
And you know, you talk about work-life balance. Are there any? We know that you do exercise. We know that you write music. But are there any sort of rituals, anything that you do maybe in the morning, maybe before you go to bed at night, that helps you mentally?
Yeah, exercise. It is. That's the truth. Exercise or yoga. Level of meditation. I wouldn't say I go too deep into it, but meditation or mindfulness is just, you know, mindfulness is just breathing exercises, really. Little techniques. Do you want me to tell you one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, because I had a mindfulness coach for a little, when I sort of crashed last year, last year or the year before, I can't keep up now. But I actually asked for help myself, because it's also very difficult to ask for help when you're in the profession of mental health nursing. So you think that you're supposed to be helping everybody else. And I was offered I'm the ambassador for Mindfulness Support Service, which is a service that supports survivors of domestic abuse and domestic violence. And it is all through mindfulness. So I reached out just thinking, well, maybe I could just get some help from, do you know what I mean? I'm the ambassador. And they did, and I had sessions, and it was amazing. And one of the techniques that I was told was, if you're feeling like anxiety coming on, or you're feeling distressed, if you look around for 5 things of one color, so say 5 red things in the room, you just take your time you find 5 or more red things in the room, your brain actually just like, it distracts you from what's going on physically, and you're surprised what happens. So try that.
What? Try it now?
Try it whenever. No, not now. Try it when you feel like you're feeling some anxiety going on, or you're not really understanding the feeling that's going on in your body. Just try it. If something's upsetting you, distressing you as well. It's really good. Really good. These little techniques. It's such a simple thing. Such a simple thing.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of sort of look at something and focus on it, but doing 5 different things of the same color, I haven't heard of that technique. So that's
5 different things, and you've got different. There's loads of different techniques. Like there's the touch ones. Pick something up, smell it, touch it, look at the colors. Those sorts of things as well. Just simple breathing exercises. You'd be surprised. You'll be surprised how much help if you do it. And the more you do it, the more it will naturally happen. Like, I'm probably the calmest I've ever been in my life. Not that much of a stress head, but I was getting there.
It's funny when you mention breathing exercises, because I've done many breathing exercises, but it's one of these things where when somebody tells you to breathe, I don't know about you, but it's almost like sometimes you forget how to breathe. Like, how do you?
Yeah, what am I going to do here?
Yeah. It's like,
no, I know what you mean.
So used to just breathing, and now you've got to like sort of monitor your breathing, and then wait. Now, am I doing this right? Like, it's just it's insane how things that are just natural to us that we take for granted, I guess. But all that we're not even doing right. Even when I used to do boxing and stuff, and they say that with every punch you're supposed to take a breath. Inhale, exhale with every punch, and you see people that will be like, they're taking one breath and they're like, but they're not. They're making the sound as if they're breathing with each punch, but actually they're not.
But they're not doing it. Yeah. It's paying attention, isn't it? It's paying attention.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Okay, so let's just get back to music, just for to bring this to a close. Do you have any plans future-wise to perform, to make any more tracks, to travel?
So last year I had loads of plans to travel. I was due to be in Miami, and then lockdown. It was 2 days after we locked down. I was due to be gone. I was packed and everything. Yeah, and yeah, I guess I'll just pick those things back up once things open up. There's plenty for me to be doing. But obviously now I've got this other venture with Mendable. I'm pretty sure that's going to be me and Juan talking about meeting in LA when this is done, so we can really like properly meet each other and go over everything. But we're working every day, no sleep.
Wow.
So lots of plans to travel. I've got singles that are due to come out. There's so much. There's loads. I don't even know where to start. I'm tired just thinking about it all. But it's all positive. Do you know what I mean? It's all positive. And the last few years of my life haven't necessarily been positive. Do you know what I mean? So this is really good. It's good. And I know that once I put myself in a really good position, I can help put others in them as well. And I'm excited for that because I'm all about giving to other people. That's how I am as a person. Do you know what I mean?
That's fantastic. Final question then. Where can we get information about Mendable? Did you say it was called?
Yeah, so you can go to www.mendable.app, and then you can sign up to be part of this if you want to be part of the beta stage, or if you want to show an interest in the project itself. There's just I can't wait. I'm so excited about this. This is something I'm the most excited about. I know, and it's mad because most people are like, well, yeah, but don't you want to be like back at number 1? I'm like, no, I want to save lives. That's what I want to do. So yeah, mendable.app.
Mendable.app. And what about your music? Do you have a YouTube page, or do we just type in your name on YouTube and then we just?
So I'm on Sophia May Music basically everywhere, and there's Spotify is probably the best place to hear the latest stuff. The last single, which was under that same project with Renee Rodriguez, called The Moment, was released at the end of last year. So we're only in February now, and it's got like, I think 350,000 streams already on Spotify alone. So yeah, it's doing really well. And there will be more from me with some interesting people.
Watch this space.
Yeah, watch this
Brilliant.
space.
Brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Very, very insightful as well as finding out, things. I always like to be educated on, things that are about mental health, So yeah, thank you for your time. And I do wish
I
you
absolutely expect you to sign up to the app. I expect your full support.
I'm on it. I'm going to look into it. Definitely. I'll definitely look into it.
And there's one more thing I expect from you, and that's our trip to LA Gym.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'll be there. I'll be there. Yeah.
It's the deal.
We can do it now. I'm definitely down for it. I do need to get back in the gym. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done much training, so definitely want to look back to getting, working on the fitness, and as a result,
Good for the soul.
working on the mind as well. Exactly. So
absolutely.
yeah, once again, thank you for being on a Melanin Mindset podcast, and wish you all the best for the future. And until next time, when I see you at the gym.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem. For those that have been watching, good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Peace.